Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, August 25th. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and SPY. Pretty interesting day again. They pretty much did what they did yesterday when we opened. Well, today we gapped higher, right? They tried to go higher early in the day, flushed out, and then resumed what they were doing and spent a lot of time. Remember, we had a trend day yesterday in D, and then a rip down in G, and then they spent L and M just filling in all the missing volume. Well, they did that again today. Now, again, I'm in four tick increments, but we gapped higher, filled the gap, went trend, rip it apart in D real quick, try to go lower, don't get anything for our efforts, and then spend 2 hours just filling in all the volume between where the single prints were and where D ripped down, and then finally probe and rip into the gap and finally get the overnight high late in the day. Now, we still remain with a gap in ES and SPY. Russell filled their gap earlier today. They filled their gap in B period, okay? They actually got their wide POC, and I think they might have gotten or just missed their afternoon rally high from the 9th, I believe that is. 19th, I'm sorry. They are above, for now, they are above May's high again, which is 193.93. So there's a hell of a battle going on here. Qs did the same exact thing as us, got into the gap, did not close it. It's a rather large gap, but they took back a lot more to gap, and so did we, than I thought we would today, for two reasons. Well, number one, I said that gap wouldn't get filled today. It didn't, but they did take a lot back late. I didn't think they'd take back as much late. Why? Because Powell's speaking tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We all know what this is about, right? So there's a lot of short covering today, right? We said we had two nice gaps down. Then the last 2 days couldn't get that much distance away from the prior day's lows. Those are the shorts that it got taken out early today. But the higher we get into this gap, the more and more people now that are short start panicking and they start covering. So before I go throughout today, I think the bottom line is this for tomorrow. If Powell does not upset the apple cart for whatever he says, then we're probably going to come out of this 4-day balance to the upside and take back the rest of this gap and see what we can get. If, however, they don't like what he has to say, now he doesn't speak until 10, so there's a chance to even fill this gap prior to that. But regardless of whether we fill the gap or not, if they like what he says, we should start getting acceptance then higher. If they don't like what he says, even if we fill the gap prior to him speaking, then all we're going to do is probably roll over, right, and start testing the bottom of this 4-day balance. The monthly's up, the weekly is balanced, and so is the daily. Today was a tough day just like yesterday because I was long in D period, and just like yesterday when I was long in G and I didn't hold it, and then I went neutral, kind of the same today. I ended up basically scratching on the day, making pennies. But I did battle back. I was down. And the sad thing is, I made money on every trade except one. But that one, cost me a bit. And then I battled back, because it took away what I was up, put me under. And then I battled back in H. And we'll go over these right now. So in B period, I didn't do anything in A. They filled the gap. It got down to value high and L's high. I'm like, well, any acceptance into there, we can go to this POC from yesterday. And again, I have to update this because we were 9 wide, right? I believe we were 9 wide. Yes, we were. So I waited to B period. And when B period opened and popped and came back in, twice I scalped longs. I'm sorry, I only scalped a long once in B, when it pulled back a bit and did okay on that. And then when it looked like B wasn't getting much traction, I reversed and shorted B twice because I didn't think we would have single prints. Now, I did okay on both of those, even though we did end up with single prints. By the time it opened, I was out and flat. C went high. It took out the IB high. I'm like, okay. I didn't do anything. D opens. We take out C's low. We start getting momentum. I didn't short it right away, but I took a 9 mini short play to go fill the gap. And I did okay on that, but again, by the time I got into it, there wasn't much of the gap left to fill. That's why I took the big size to fill it, and I got out. The problem was I thought that's all they wanted to do, and I started along right below A's high. I added at B's low, added below that, and it started putting me in trouble. And once it got below the open and I was not comfortable, took it off. So I gave back everything I had made on the first 4 trades of the day and more. I did not get back in long because nothing was really telling me to until H period. So H period, I actually took a short the first time against G, which worked. I took a 5 lot, which paid me, which chipped away at my loss. And then when it looked like H was going to stop the one-time framing, I got long to pop the top, and I got paid on it. So that basically put me up on the day. I mean, pennies. We're talking like, $150 or whatever. I didn't do anything after that. Well, quite simply, IJK told me this was nothing. Like I said, we were rounding out all the volume in here, filling in. Couple of times I was very tempted to take a long. In L, when it looked like it might pop IJ and K, and even again in M, when it looked like it was going to pop the day's high. But I really thought they might just go get the overnight high and bump their head against the 20-day moving average. I was actually looking maybe to short it if that happened. But that didn't happen, and they blew through. I wasn't going to get involved on the short game because there was good tempo and volume, so I just watched. Again, tomorrow's a new day. I'll take my small green, and we start over again, right? Not every day is going to be a big money day. And these days, again, this was kind of tough again because what they did was, just like yesterday, what was the market trying to do yesterday? A through F, go up. And then G sent the algos into a bit of a tizzy, and we spent 2 hours down here. Same thing today. Market was attempting to go up. Goes down. We spend 2 hours going same crap. They don't know what to do, and then they resume what they were doing earlier in the day. So, no big deal. As far as destinations, upside, SPY, 419.56 today's high, and then filling that gap at 421.22. 166-point gap. Above that, we have a daily high 425.27, and then filling the other gap at 425.50. That's only a 23-point gap. I'm sorry. I'm looking at an afternoon rally high. You know what? Hold on 1 second. I think I missed some other reference points. Yes. Excuse me. Before that other high, we have 422.94, 9 wide from the 19th. And we have the afternoon rally high, 423.70. And then we have that other daily high and the gap. Keeping track of 2 sets of numbers, you think it's easy, right? You want to know why I only trade one thing. For the downside, we have 417.85 price probe sees high, 414.69 afternoon pullback low from today, and 414.09 today's daily low. In the ES, on the upside, so we got that 419.99. We got that 9 wide POC. I can take that off. Okay. So we have today's high at 42.0275, and then filling the gap at 42.2075. That's your first upside destination. Then we have 42.3675, 10 wide from the 19th. 42.4575 afternoon rally high from the 19th. And then we have 42.6175 daily high and filling the gap at 42.64. For the downside in ES, we have price probe at 85, 41.85, afternoon pullback low of 41.5325, and today's low of 41.4750, and then we have 41.41 9 wide from August 24th. And then on the chart, monthlies. Now, we talked about this in the room a little bit. I'm calling the monthly up. Somebody else said, well, I'm calling the balance. And I have no problem with that, right? Because we barely took out May's high. So if you want to call a 4-month balance, I have no problem with that. But since I put the monthly last month into balance when we had the inside month, since we took out July, June, and May's high, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and calling the monthly up. Weekly is still balanced. It's a 3-week balance. The gap is still my main focus because we haven't filled it yet. And the daily is now a 4-day balance. Today is the high of it. Yesterday is the low of it. That's it. We're above the 20 for now. One day doesn't make a market. So Mr. Powell's going to have a lot to do with how we come out of this 4-day balance. Like I said, if they like what he said, we should go fill at least this gap and eventually go test this gap and maybe the 200-day moving average again. If they don't like what he has to say, then I expect to roll back over, get below the 20, and test the bottom of our 4-day balance. Hope you had a good day trading. Thanks for the likes and subscribing to this channel. Enjoy your evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.